Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. It's time to upgrade. I'm installing this ANL fuse holder that can handle 2-aught cabling. Going by the numbers, I've been running off of this inverter kit that I have DIY'd about. 150 amp fuse going into the inverter from the bus is going to be more than sufficient to handle the amperage. So this video is not sponsored by the manufacturer of this device. This is just a demonstration of how I am going to install this into my emergency power generation station. The adapter feels very sturdy, feels very rigid, looks to me to be well designed. The actual holder is encased in a plastic shield all the way around, including the ends where the cables go in are pretty much protected from any risk of exposing the metal to the outside elements outside of the fuse holder. This is to me a well-designed fuse holder. Just by layman's eyes, this looks to be a very good system, very good piece of equipment to protect your power generation station. This is my emergency power kit right here. It is a 12 volt 400 amp hour solution consisting of 4 12 volt 100 amp hour batteries, 20 amp 14.6 volt LiPo battery charger, Jupiter pure sine wave 2000 watt inverter. The main purpose of this kit is to run my furnace when in the wintertime in case of a power outage, and to keep the refrigerator running cold and keep the contents of both the refrigerator and my deep freezer froze in cold. Included with this kit is a 20 amp 120 volt cable with a 20 amp connection going into the inverter itself. Got plenty of overhead when it comes to cabling, so there's no risk of overheating cabling coming out of the inverter. The fact that this inverter is rated for 2000 watt, 150 amp fuse and a 12 volt source is going to be more than sufficient to fully utilize the capacity of the inverter without any risk of overheating of the cables. Because again, the 2-aught cables are rated for 175 amps, and I'm using a 150 amp fuse. The big question is, where am I going to mount this fuse holder? Ideally, you would want to mount this fuse holder as close to the beginning of the line as possible. So we're going to attempt to mount it right here next to the bus. It is the cart tray, I guess, is wide enough to accommodate the anchor points on the fuse holder. So I think I might just cut the battery cable right here and install this fuse holder right here. That's only step one. I do have another project coming in the works where I will be installing or creating a pre-charge system that will go between the inverter and the bus, so I can pre-charge the inverter before I toast any of the electronics inside the inverter itself. We're going to go ahead and mount this fuse holder right about here once I get the cable out of the way. So I'm going to cut the cable right about here. They always say measure twice, cut once. I want to get this right. So here goes nothing. She's been severed. Well, basically now that I'm at the point of no return, I'm going to go ahead and take this lead off here so I can actually mount it into the fuse holder. Okay, so we have everything that we need here to put this together. Again, I'm just going to strip back the insulation to right about here, and then put this into the fuse holder, and then we will do the other end. The fuse holder has a couple of 4 Phillips screw heads, screws to take out. So there is the actual fuse holder itself, with the 150 amp fuse already built into it. I'm pigtailing this guy into this side because this is going to be the side that's going to be closer to the bus on the cart. So we're pigtailing in here. And I need some Allen wrenches to take those nuts out. Looks like maybe 5/16 size Allen wrenches. Take out the Allen nut just a little bit. There is something here to allow you to size down the cabling. Since we're using 2/0 cabling, the 2/0 cable will occupy the space entirely. Alright, so I have the little pigtail in line with the fuse holder now. I think a better way to have done this, which I don't have the tools, would have been to solder or tin the end of this cable. So let me know down in the comments below what your recommendation would have been for something like that. So that takes care of hooking this side up. Now I have to do the other side. Okay, they're in there now. Not a whole lot of room after a little bit of finagling. Not a whole lot of room inside that opening for the 2/0 cable, which is good, because that means when this Allen screw bears down onto the strands, since there's basically no room in there to allow the strands to separate, that's going to more or less effectively make the connection a solid connection. Again, tinning would have been a better option. You've got to put some serious torque on this guy here to get everything nice and mechanically bound together inside that block. Once I get this mounted back onto the cart more securely, I will tighten down those Allens even more, but that is the start right there. And there you go. So as mentioned before, if you don't pre-charge your inverter, you risk toasting your inverter. So to pre-charge, well, I've been using a standard voltage 12-volt voltage tester with a light. As soon as I touch it and hold on to it, there we go. Trying to do everything one-handed here. This action right here pre-charges the inverter, so you're not risking a surge of electricity going into the inverter and toasting it. But now that everything's pre-charged, now I can go ahead and hook everything up. Okay, there you have it. Everything's wired back in place. 12 volt, 400 amp hour juice coming off of 4 12 volt, 100 amp hour batteries coming into this bus here. Everything coming out of the bus going through this 150 amp ANL fuse and holder. For now, I have just attached the fuse holder to the side of the cart with these self-tapping machine screws here. As you can see, I got all sorts of room back here, all sorts of slack back here to allow me to move the inverter around as necessary. And that is it for this video. I hope you find this informational and informative, which is informational. If you have any comments for me or recommendations for me or for any viewer for that matter, let them know or let us know in the comments below. And I thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you on the next video.